So you hate HOAs and you don't want to be told what to do with your house and your property. So when you move to Idaho, it is a no HOA, non-negotiable, right? Well, Idaho's HOAs are not as strict, not as crazy, not as prevalent as some other states in the US. So in this video, I'm going to talk all about HOAs and CC&Rs. You ready? Let's get started. What's up guys? My name is Annika Wilder. I'm a local realtor here in the East Idaho area. If you're thinking about moving here, whether it's next week or next year, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me email, schedule a Zoom call, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have about Idaho Falls or the surrounding areas. And if you're new to my channel and you want to know all there is to know about Idaho Falls and the surrounding areas, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and you'll be the first to know about all things life in Idaho Falls. All right, let's talk about the HOA. HOA is the Homeowners Association. This is a group of people that helps people follow the rules of the CC&Rs, also known as covenants, conditions, and restrictions. Now, if you live in a place with CC&Rs, but there's no HOA, it doesn't mean you're not supposed to follow those rules. It just means there's nobody knocking on your door telling you that you are or aren't. And nobody wants to be told what to do in their own property. I totally get it. I don't either. But let's talk about how Idaho is a little bit different. Number one is the cost. On average, the cost of HOAs across the nation are easily $400 a month or more. And some scenarios, it can go up to $500, $600, $700. So when I help people move here from states like Washington and California and Oregon, they all say, oh, no HOA, please no HOA. I've seen drones in my backyard spying on me to make sure that I'm following the rules, and I have to pay $500 a month to follow those rules. And so I have trauma and I no longer want HOAs. You cannot convince me otherwise. And if you come from that situation, I totally get it. I would be scared of HOAs too. Idaho is just not that wild or crazy or strict with the HOAs. On average, a lot of neighborhoods out here range from $100 a year to maybe $200 a year. Now, there are some much more expensive HOAs, which I'll talk about now. There are places that have townhomes like these that I'll show you listed on the MLS. These townhomes take forever to sell because the HOA is over $200 a month. And nobody wants to pay $200 a month, but the pro of this HOA is that they take care of all of your snow removal, all of your landscaping, and all of the exterior maintenance because they're townhomes. So if something happens with your roof or your siding or anything on the exterior, that HOA covers it. So there is a reason why that is so expensive. Same thing for 55 plus communities. Those have higher restrictions or higher HOA fees because they're maintaining your lawn for you. Now, besides senior living and townhome communities, there are very expensive communities in Idaho Falls. There's not a ton, but let me share a few with you. For example, Polo Estates, like this home that I'm showing you now, has a $125 a month HOA fee. This is strictly for the purpose of the community well. If anything were ever to happen to the community well and for maintenance, everyone in Polo Estates is paying $125 a month. Now that is on the higher end. I'm bringing it up because we are not absent of expensive HOAs, but this one is really just for the well. Another higher end neighborhood is South Point. This is one of the most desirable neighborhoods in all of East Idaho. It's beautiful, it's well maintained, and some people prefer to have an HOA because of the aesthetics. This one is around $400 a year for this HOA. Another one is Black Hawk Estates. Black Hawk Estates, like you see on this listing, it's a beautiful home on Longbow Bend, and it is $500 a year. This type of HOA might not cover your yard work or your snow removal or any exterior part of your home, but it will have rules of whether or not you can have animals, or whether or not you can have a shop, how big the shop is, how far away from your neighbors you can have a shop, whether you can work on your car in your driveway. These are things that are often mentioned in the stricter HOAs that are here in this area. As you can tell, these are higher end homes, but here's a home right on the river at River Acre Estates on Riverview Drive, and there is no HOA there. So you can have a luxury home without an HOA, even in places like this right on the river. Here are two more that are kind of expensive. This beautiful $2.8 million home is in Lazy 8 Estates, and the HOA here is $800 a year. Now, as you can tell, this has a shop and it has room for animals. So even though it has an HOA to regulate some things, and we're not going to get into every detail of every HOA, but you can still have animals even if you do have an HOA. Now, the most expensive HOA that I have seen is in one of our gated communities, Cottonwood Hills. Like this home that you see here, it's a beautiful home, well maintained, has an HOA of $2,400 a year. This is the most expensive HOA that I have heard of in East Idaho. And it does have a clubhouse, and it does have exterior maintenance, and there's just a lot that goes into this HOA. But a big part of that expense is to be in a safe, locked, gated community, which I know isn't for everybody, and not everybody wants to deal with it, but that is an option here. We have 2 or 3 gated communities here in Idaho Falls. Number 2, let's talk about how stringent these HOAs are. Now, I mentioned before drones and crazy people trying to regulate the rules of certain HOAs in different states, and Idaho Falls is just a little bit more lax. We're out in the country here. Everybody wants chickens and cows and shops. I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people do. I will say almost everybody wants toys like riding lawnmowers, 4-wheelers, golf carts, RVs, side-by-sides, etc. And we need space for these things. We need shops. We need RV pads. And so even the HOAs here allow for shops. Some things that they might regulate are, please make your shop the same color as your house, or your shop can only be this size because it might obstruct somebody's beautiful view. If you have an RV, some HOAs might require it to be behind a fence. It just looks a little bit better that way. Some people prefer HOAs because they want their neighborhood to be well kept and looked after, and they don't want to be the frustrated neighbor knocking on their neighbor's door saying, hey, can you clean up your driveway? So there's pros and cons to HOAs. It's not for everybody, and I get it. And the principle of somebody telling you what to do with your own property, it stinks. I know. Just know that it's Idaho. We're going to get real here. The strict HOAs just aren't as prevalent in Idaho as they are in other states. The most strict HOAs we have here are in gated communities or high-end communities or communities that provide exterior maintenance and things like that we talked about. So in short, if you are one of those that doesn't want to be told what to do about their house, or you have horror stories about HOAs and it is limiting how many listings you might look at when you move here, just call or text me and say, hey, can you send me the CCNRs, or can you send me the HOA for this neighborhood? How bad is it? Because what I want to do is have an RV, have a shop, work on my car in the driveway, and maybe have a chicken or a horse or 2. Can I do that with this HOA? And the likelihood might be yes. It might be no, and that's why we look, but I wouldn't cross it off your list completely. Well, that's it for this video. I hope that was helpful. And if you have any questions, or if you do want to know more about HOAs, just give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I'll be happy to help. We'll see you next time. Bye.